Hello everyone, my name is Fabian. I'm the UK Country Manager for Athletes USA. I wanted to talk to you today and to Lauren about her experiences. I thought it would be something insightful for you to get a little bit more of experience in terms of how the US scholarship process works, what you might expect, and how someone who's going over from the UK might adapt to such a situation. So thank you very much, Lauren. Appreciate your time. I'm sure you've got a very busy schedule.
It's really busy. Yeah.
So thanks a lot, obviously, for joining us and taking your time out. It's much appreciated. So Lauren, for a little bit of background, Lauren is a beach volleyball player. She's worked with us. I think you joined us in 2017, was it?
Yes, because I'm now a sophomore in my first year, so that would be about right.
Yeah. So Lauren is one of the athletes we've helped over to the US, and she's currently adapting to the system, how things work. She's now in her second year, but I will let her tell you all of that. So first and foremost, Lauren, I want to just go back a few years. Just want to understand a little bit what made you want to go to the US. What brought that decision about?
So I was lucky enough to be part of the England team. So I was playing indoor and beach volleyball on like a European stage. I was seeing what the rest of the world had to offer, and I couldn't even believe the extent to which America do college sport. The amount of money that they funnel into it and the opportunities that they provide is just unparalleled anywhere I've ever seen anywhere else in the world anyway. And so there was a girl a year older than me that she deferred a year but then went the same year I went, so she's out here playing beach volleyball. Another girl just committed to Florida, so she's out here now in her freshman year, and I know there's some other people who played indoor before me. I was one of the first, but followed in footsteps of people doing similar things, and it was said to be the done thing if you wanted to continue playing at the college level anyway.
Yeah, so you found going over to the US would be more beneficial for you in terms of your sport than staying over here in the UK?
Oh, 100%. I mean, academically, we looked at it and compared it, and there wasn't much difference. But on the sport level, it's crazy. You can't, it's unparalleled, honestly.
Yeah, and his facilities over there are absolutely incredible, aren't they? Like you said, they just put so much money into it, and
for sure. And it's as if I'm like part of now a professional. Although I don't get paid, I'm part of like a full-time. I wake up every morning and I lift and practice. And it's my life. That and school, it's what I do.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always try and say is like, it's professional, but it's not, because it's not classed as professional sport. It's amateur. But for example, when I was playing professional football, like I go through some of the pictures, and we used to have physiotherapy rooms with 2 beds, and I look at some of the pictures and things like that, and you see, there's 15, 20 beds there, and the facilities are just, they're incredible. So you've really found that beneficial in terms of your sport. How have you felt that you've developed in terms of that? Your sport, have you improved or?
Oh, I watch film myself from like when I came, and I'm like embarrassed. I hate watching it because I'm a completely different player. Like the amount of stuff you just learn and the things you gain from just being in like a constant weight program, a constant conditioning program, and just playing every day for 9 months of the year, you just can't beat that. And it's proper training. You are being coached by people who have done it, and you're surrounded by like-minded people who want to get better and are working and pushing you all the time. So even if you were going to do it at home and you were going to work really hard and do it yourself, you just don't have the same environment to do it in.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you find, again, going back, I mean, you were obviously a successful volleyball player before you went, because played for England, I believe. And how you had, I think it was 6 different offers as well from universities, wasn't it?
I did. I had a lot at the start, and that was overwhelming. It's terrifying to have to sit at home and just not even visit half of them, because when I did my official visit, I only visited 3, so I had to half the number before I even got to see or meet any of the people in real life.
Yeah. What did you base your decision on in the end?
So my dad made me do an Excel spreadsheet. It's the first thing that I had to do.
Good dad.
My dad, yeah, so that kept him happy. But for me, I also looked at playing indoor out here. So once I'd made the decision, I had, I think, 2 of mine were indoor only, and then 1 was both. So I was going to be able to do indoor and beach, and then the other ones were beach only. So I first of all had to decide that I wanted to just commit to playing beach.
Mm-hmm.
Then I looked at, which sounds really superficial, but like the climate, because I didn't want to be going to play beach in Nebraska. That was one of the things that was an option. No, I was coming from England. I did not want to be playing sport in the cold. So that was one thing. I looked at the coach. So we FaceTimed the coach. I probably had 10, 12, 15, maybe different opportunities to speak to the coach and the assistant coaches and different people on the team before I could make a decision. And then I also looked at the facilities that were provided and the size of the school and the academics that went along with that. Because I think when I got down to my last 2, so the school I'm at now, HBU, and also Georgia State. And Georgia State is like a 35,000 people undergrad. They're in a city campus. It is completely different to the campus I'm at, which is like 4,000, all on campus. Everybody lives on campus sort of thing. And so I have the 2 polar opposites in that sense.
Yeah.
But that was how I went through it.
And you found that was a good decision in the end? You enjoyed your time?
Definitely. In that my parents always made sure it was going to be academic first. And they do say here, even here it's student athlete, you're never an athlete first.
Yeah.
And being in a smaller school where I was more than just a number was going to be really important for me, because I wanted to go on and I want to go and get like maybe a PhD or like continue my education to a really high level. I didn't feel like I'd be able to do that at a school where I was just like one in a mass of people.
Yeah.
Although it would have been incredible to go to Georgia State because it's a very well-known college who've done lots of things. For me, this was the better option.
So do you now feel recognised within your college? Do you feel like people acknowledge who you are and what you do?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just being an athlete, you're like, the teachers and professors love athletes. They support you in every single way you can. And all the sports, like, we will all go out together. Like, tonight we have a all athletic department picture. So all the sports get together. We all hang out. Like, I'm really good friends with, obviously, like, the soccer players because we have, like, similar interests and things like that. And, like, the community you get with just being an athlete is really cool. It's a really good thing to be, like, a part of. And then you also get your team who are, like, you can't get away from them. I live with them, so I live in an apartment right now with 2 others. And as freshmen, we all live together, and we're like neighbours with some others. So you're constantly surrounded by like them. Mm-hmm. Then there's the athletes, and then I'm also lucky because I have like the international student body. So international students also meet up and hang out. Okay. So I was lucky enough to be constantly surrounded by people who got different parts of my life.
Sounds great. So how did you actually find, like, did the university help you? So obviously it's a big step to go from the UK to move across the pond at 18 years old. How did you sort of find that, and did you have support there from people at the university? How did you settle in?
Oh, it was so much harder than I thought it was going to be. I can't lie about that. I was always super independent, but it's just different. Americans are different. They're great. I love them, but you need to find people that understand what it's like to do that. My first semester as a freshman was super tough. Like just adjusting to like cultural norms that you don't even think about when you're thinking about moving.
Yeah.
Food. Oh my gosh. Food was the worst. Trying to eat, like, we have to try and eat like 3,500 calories a day, and just trying to find food I liked. Wow. So hard. You wouldn't even think about it. But lots learned the first semester, and I'm so much happier now having just learned, and people around me have learned. We now have a French girl on our team, so she's a grad student, and I just had to make it clear that like French people are just different. Their culture is different. They talk to you different, and lots of the American people on my team they didn't know that.
Yeah. And
so to be able to have that sort of dialect was really important. I found it really important.
I think in that sense, though, it develops you. That I was going to say. So how has that developed you as a person? Has it allowed you to get to know other cultures better? Do you feel like you're a better person for it?
Oh, 100%. Before I came to the States, I probably wouldn't have said I was the most tolerant of other people. I was very like black and white. This is how it's going to be. Straight talking, and that was just either take it or leave it sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now, having been in that situation where it's like, well, I came here, I'm a visitor in their country, I don't get to do that really.
Mm-hmm.
It's made me far more accepting of nobody's doing it on purpose, it's just different.
Yeah.
It is. And as soon as you can learn that, it will make it a whole lot easier, because that just is how it is, and you have to adapt who you are, because you're the one that moved halfway across the world. You have to make changes to make it easier for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell that I'm German, would you?
No.
Exactly, yeah. So I've adapted to the English culture in a different way as well. So I've kind of like become English. Everyone's like, "You're English now." It's like, yeah, okay.
It is true though. You do just have to like change teeny tiny things about you that makes such a difference in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. So how's your second year been different from your first year? How have you found that difference?
So the first year I felt, well, the pressure of coming in and wanting to start and play consumes like all freshmen, whether you're international or not. It is the competition between like people you're living with is a really hard thing to overcome. Like what's court time is different to what is the rest of life. And that's really hard, because you go in and the first couple of weeks are all happy, you're all meeting people, and then it gets down to where lineups are coming out and you're not in the top 5 teams, or you're not making the cut right now and you're not traveling, and your roommate is, and then you have to go back to the room and be friends with her. Like, that was really hard to learn. But now going in, like, my mindset for playing is completely different, because I know fall doesn't matter, because I'm a spring sport. So the fall is about working hard, trying to put in the new processes, and doing that. And it's so much easier, because everybody had to learn that lesson last year. Whereas now, we've all sort of learned that and now getting on with it. And I also found really helpful to not just have like a base as my team, because getting up at 5:30, because we lift at 6 every morning, and spending an hour with them then, and then spending 3 hours with them at practice, and then coming home and living with them is a lot to do with one group of people. Yeah. I have now got teams I've got friends in basketball, soccer. I'm friends with people who aren't even athletes on campus, who are just in my classes, and that is a much needed rest from the people that you spend every single day with. You travel with them on weekends and everything. Yeah. So that was important.
Yeah, I can imagine that being really hard, and it goes for most team sports really, because at the end of the day you are competing with those people, but at the end of the day they're your teammates, so you have to be friends. So I think that's a really good thing in diversifying, who you know and the people, and getting to know other sports as well and learning from those as well. So that's great really. I think that'll be a really useful tip as well for people who are considering.
It would be the biggest bit of advice I could give to anybody. Would be, do not just rely on your team. They're great, and you can rely on them for anything if you really need it, but give yourself a break. You're with them a lot.
Oh, sounds good. So how's your current schedule look? Your day-to-day schedule, what you do?
So today's Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday we lift. We lift at 6. We lift for an hour and 15 minutes. So we lift till about 7:15, and then we have practice at 8. So we have about 45 minutes eat, go to practice. We practice from 8 until Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is 10. So practice till 10. Haven't gone home yet. Still out, still eating and whatever. And then I go straight to class. So I have my first class of the day, 10 to 11. And then I'm done for my Monday and Fridays. Tuesday, Thursdays are conditioning days. So we condition at 7. So we're up at 7, condition for an hour till 8, go straight to practice 8 till 11. And then I have 4 classes on a Tuesday, Thursday, so I don't get home until 6:45.
Busy.
And then Wednesdays I have my lab as well. So Wednesdays I do my 10 to 11 class, and then I have my lab, which is 3 hours from 1 to 4.
So what are you currently studying?
I'm a psychology major with a criminal justice minor.
Okay.
So,
and how have you found the actual education? Well, I'll say, how have you found combining both the education and the sport? And obviously you're busy. How do you find managing your time?
You're so busy. Like, you don't even know busy until you're out here. But it's a different sort of education in that, like, doing A-levels. And A-levels were the hardest thing I've ever done. They were awful. Like, I hated it. It was horrible. So coming here and doing an education system that's, like, semester-based. So all of my classes that I'm taking right now will be done at Christmas, and I'll have finals week, and I'm done with. I don't have to... Obviously, for my psychology classes, I should probably try and remember some of the stuff. But I don't have to actually know any more of that information, which really suits me, that I can learn it as I go. You're regularly tested, so you have tests probably 2 to 3 weeks, and they combine to give you an overall grade at the end. And you have pop quizzes in class and whatever. But I would say the education here is easier than anything I did at home.
Okay.
In lots of stuff I'm revisiting, because with A-levels you cover, and GCSEs you cover such a broad thing, so it makes it easier to learn. And then also the thing that there's no, like, A-levels was 2 years of trying to remember all that stuff. Yeah. And just not having to do that really works for me.
Do you find it being a little bit more hands-on, perhaps? I mean, so if you go back to your A-levels and it's a lot of remembering stuff, do you think that the system now is a bit different, where it's perhaps a little bit more practical, and rather than remembering everything, it's a different style of learning?
I would say so, definitely, because all of the tests, most of the tests you take here are multiple choice. So in that sense, when you're being tested, it isn't like regurgitating information. Yeah. It's like picking between different options. And then when you're in the classroom, things are much more delivered to you. So you're told what you need to know. So when I'm going to study, I'm like, right, I need to know this, 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 and this. Don't need that, not going to remember that. It's much more directed and guided than A-levels, where you were just like, I felt like I was just fishing in the dark for the time. I mean, I was okay at A-levels. It was awful.
I'm sure you were. So do you have good support in terms of from people at the university to combine that allows you to manage your time well with your sport?
100%. So we also have all the people on the team, so like the sports team. So we have like physios and everything that contribute to keeping you on court and fit on court and things like that. And then academically, you have your first semester, you have like an advisor who you have to meet with every week. Not a choice, you have to go. And it's they block out an hour, but you don't need an hour. And they're like, what work do you have this week? Do you have tests coming up? And they sit down with you and plan, if you need help, like what you're going to study, how you're going to study. Tutoring for every single subject is offered on campus, and it's free. So you just book an appointment online, go, and they will tutor you in there. To become a tutor on campus, you have to have made an A in that class. Okay. And so you're tutored by people who have done that class with that professor, so they know what the tests are going to be like. They're going to know if there's extra credit, which is really helpful. And then at the top of all of that, we have Sam, who is our athletic and academic compliance, and she does everything for you. If you need to drop a class, if it's going to tank your GPA, she is in there. She's like, right, drop it, add it next semester, take this class instead. She does everything to make being an athlete and an academic so much easier.
That sounds good.
On top of that, you actually also have an advisor that continues with you for 4 years, and that's someone who's in your major. So I have, like, one of the psychology professors is my advisor, so if I ever have questions about, like, internships or things like that, I can go talk to her. Okay.
So you got good support, basically. That's so
much support, like, overwhelmed support if you need it.
So amongst all that you do, how do you spend your leisure time, if you have any?
We do actually get leisure time. I think being an athlete, you get all your stuff done and then you have time. So me and my teammates, we just eat. We eat and we eat and we eat. We go out for dinner like all the time. We go to like cafes to study. We go out for dinner as a team. We have like team bonding activities as well, so they're like scheduled in at the beginning of the semester. So I think this year we're doing laser tag, which is so much fun because coach comes, so obviously you got to win. We do an escape room. We have an escape room this year, and we have a hybrids course. So all of those are scheduled in, and it's part of the time as a team that we put aside to put into team stuff. And then other than that, I mean, we're at college. We enjoy going out. Like, obviously, we're not 21, so you have to respect that rule. But there are still fun to be had, that's for sure.
I see where you're going.
Yeah, so there's obviously all of that stuff, which I was worried I would miss out on. Because I look back at all my friends that are at college right now are like, I don't even think some of my friends have attended lectures yet, you know? They've just been up for their first year. And I was worried I would miss out on that, but you really don't. If you want to find the people to do that, you can. And if you want to stay away from it, there's also that option, which is really nice, because you have to find the balance between doing that when you're not in season, and then in season, dry season. There is no alcohol allowed regardless of your age when we're in season, from January 11th, I think, when we get here, dry season. Nobody's allowed to drink, no matter what.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's part of being a student athlete as well, isn't it? You know, you have to be a role model, and like you said, people look up to you at the university as well. That you have to be.
That's the thing. We have like coach, and we have like the social media department who take really good care of anything that we post. Like, we have to be really conscious of whatever we put on social media, because we are role models to the sport, to the university, and so that's really important. Another aspect you have to consider that I didn't think about before is you really do have to be careful, because you are a role model. Definitely.
So within that, do you go back home in December time and in the summer, or?
I do. Because we're a spring, so beach volleyball's really lucky in that we get Christmas. Some other sports, if you're in season, you don't. So I know basketball don't get Christmas really. They get like 2 days. So the international students don't get to go home. I get to go home. I get about a month for Christmas, and then I get about 3 months for summer. And by that time, you've been in season for however many weeks, months, you need to go home. It is much needed at the end of it to be able to just connect again with people at home. Yeah. Because you do miss it. All the normal things you miss.
Yeah. But it's not like, for example, someone with thought of going, and what's holding them back is, for example, the fact that they're not going to see their family. At the end of the day, if you look at it, it's not that long until you will be able to get a chance. I mean,
it's like a 3-month stint, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it goes so fast. You do not even believe how fast it is, because you're so busy. I don't have time. I try to ring home once a week if I can. The weeks I just don't get time to. And my parents understand that, and it's totally part of just being involved on campus and involved in everything you're doing. You get very little time to miss home.
Yeah. It's just busy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's just what it is.
Brill. So how did you find the whole process of for example, working with us at Athletes USA? How did you find that went, and how quick was it? Did you feel like you had everything you needed?
It was tough, man. I remember when I made the decision that I wanted to come, and then looked at the mountain you had to climb to be able to make it. I was so overwhelmed. I think if I hadn't joined with you guys, I don't know if I would be out here now, because just the time you have to put into editing film. Yeah. It's, oh man, I used to spend hours and hours editing film. And then you get, I remember I had an offer fall through. I remember there was a chance to go to Hawaii and play indoor. And I remember when that fell through, I was just you're just so overwhelmed, because you pin all your hopes on this. Yeah. And then when something like that happens, I was so upset. But the advice I would give is just don't let that faze you, because that one fell through and I got 6 other offers afterwards. Yeah. And mine came late, really quite late. We were getting to a point where we were I don't know if this is gonna happen for me. But you just have to putting in that work now makes it so much sweeter, because I'm like, I worked so hard to be here, and I love it, and it's everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, if I hadn't joined with you guys, I'm not sure if I'd have made it.
Well, that's the thing. It requires a lot of effort, and I think sometimes some young student athletes underestimate how many people actually are willing to go to the US and how many actually apply, and how competitive that industry is.
Oh yeah.
And you do
really, because scholarships are limited.
Yeah.
By Title IX rules, so they're rules that make women's sport and things like that equal. So men's sports are all limited by that, and women's sports, I think my team, so beach volleyball, only have 4 full ride scholarships to offer on a roster of 16 people.
Yeah.
And so to be an international student, it sucks, but you pretty much have to be one of those full rides to make it work.
Yeah.
Or you've got to be up there at the 80% mark, because you're an out-of-state student, so tuition to go here for a semester is £45,000. And like that money's like, you got to be pretty lucky to be able to pay that and not be on scholarship.
Yeah.
And that is so competitive. I would say, coming from England, you are in better shape academically to receive academic and athletic money.
Yeah.
That would be something I would say you have got to look for, because it makes such a difference. I think over half my money is academic.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, again, people underestimate that really, and they just think, oh, it's all about the sport. But no, actually, the more effort you put into your grades and your studies, the better you will be. And if that sports scholarship money runs out from the coach, he can then go on to use academic money if he does really want you on the program.
And that was the thing, like, I remember, and your things you take transfer over, which make your time at school easier too. So if you get a good enough grade, so like I got to test out of bio, so I don't have to be in biology anymore, which is a godsend. Oh my. But yeah, so I got to test out of that, so that means that I have to take less hours now, which makes the whole student athlete thing so much easier. So yeah, academic, if you can put more effort at home, it makes coming a lot easier.
Brilliant. And how, just probably finally now, how do you find that this scholarship might help you to get involved still with England? How do you think that's benefiting you in terms of your sort of, if you wanted to go, for someone who perhaps wanted to go down the professional route or wanted to, play at a high level, say even if it's another sport, how do you feel like that's sort of benefited you?
Well, I'm going to be cool. So my boyfriend is from England and did the whole thing. He's out in California now playing at Cal State Long Beach, and they're the best college right now. They have 2 rings under their belt for men's indoor volleyball. And just to be able to see the contacts you can get for the professional, like, because he wants to get pro in Europe, already he is in contact with scouts and with agents, and I think of the starting 7, I think 6 of them have now gone on to play pro in Europe. Wow. Hey, I'm just on the phone. One of my roommates just walked in.
That's all right.
Sorry about that. But so to be able to have that as like a contact point, and to be exposed to so many more people and so many more coaches, because I'm out here in America, I'm not just isolated to the tiny island that is England. You're already talking to and exposed to so many more people. You just couldn't ask for a better circle of people to be in. Yeah,
and I presume you also have, again, the facilities and everything like that. That helps within that as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, being able to just have physios on site that mean that you're getting treatment whenever you need. You can go in every day if you need to get an MRI as soon as there's even a worry of any sort of thing that's going to be long term, and you get the best care that you can here. The American system for healthcare is amazing, and school provide my insurance because I'm international. You're not required to get it. School provide it, so it's the same as it being free, and you get the best care you could ask for. Yeah,
brilliant. So what are your, last question then, what are your aspirations to go like over the next 2-3 years, if you include this one?
We're trying to break top 20 rankings of school. So we want to be in the top 20 schools in the country. And we want to be pushing to make it to the NCAAs at the end of the year. That was our goal last year. We didn't reach it. We got pretty close. I think we finished at 26th or 25th. And that's what it always is going to be. You want to come out at the end with a ring. You want to win conference, get a ring for that, and then go on to the NCAAs and win the big one.
Bro. And academically?
Academically, I want to graduate with more than a 3.7. So if you graduate with a 3.7, you get like special recognition. There's like 3 grades. I think above a 3.5, above a 3.7, and a 4.0, you get 3 different awards. Okay. So that's what I want.
Bro. Sounds good. Right, okay. Well, thanks, Lauren. Appreciate that. I'm sure that was a really good insight for whoever's watching. And they'll appreciate it from someone who's been there and done it. At the end of the day, there's no one better to give advice. So, again, thanks for you taking your time out of your very busy schedule.
That's okay, of course.
Do really appreciate it. And yeah, so have a great day and we'll stay in touch and speak soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.